And Marilyn Burke, who is right here, one of our newest artists. There she is, Jill Hoy, and yay, Jill, and Eric Hopkins. So we'll hear, that's you, yep, we'll hear more from them in a few minutes. So, sort of in this season of gratitude, I just want to say thank you so much to our artists who continue to inspire and interpret the world for us, and also a special thank you and appreciation to our clients who continue to support the arts. Thank you to Abby Belisle-Haley, who feeds us every month these amazing, delicious treats, and the fabulous Lucy Denton, pouring beverage from Oak Hill Beverage. Please follow us, or invite you to follow us on Instagram and Portland Art Gallery. And also I invite you to subscribe to our YouTube station, Radio Maine, with the fabulous Dr. Lisa Belisle. It's actually fabulous isn't in the title of it, it's just Radio Maine with Dr. Lisa Belisle. And so Lisa just has these wonderful conversations with artists and members of our community. All right, so let's hear from the artists, less from me. First, I'd like to introduce artist William Crosby. We've known Bill kind of a long time. We've been together for a bit. Best known for his gestural landscapes, which evoke a feeling of almost humility in the vastness of the sea. Bill also has a zest for abstract paintings, which are some beautiful ones that are included in this show. Bill worked for decades as an art professor while actively practicing his own craft, and he's enjoyed a long-standing personal and professional partnership with his beautiful wife, Pat, who is here somewhere. There she is. Hi, Pat. They divide their time between Plattsburgh, New York, and South Thomaston, Maine, and they're passionate about being in the beautiful outdoors. Please.
And the show with Mary Lynn and Eric and Jill, I'm very honored. I think this is a wonderful show. I'm always amazed that every month this whole gallery changes completely. It's not just the featured artists. But new work put up every month, that's a big endeavor. And the whole staff gets a lot of credit for doing this. And I've never been around when things go up and down, but I'm sure there's a lot of decision making going on, and it's something to realize that this is a place of beauty. My own work, I'm in the other room as you come in. And I tried to, in knowing I was going to be there, try to, and maybe have like 3 spaces that actually grew a little more. Something that represented different directions in my work over the years. That's over 60 years, I hate to say, but it is. But I've gone back to much of my abstract expressionism that I started at the University of Michigan. I didn't come in there thinking I was going to do that at all. In fact, I transferred out of architecture from Cornell to Michigan and really did study photography. But I took some painting courses and it grew. And even though I was more interested at the beginning in more representational painting, I was very much influenced by the staff there, the faculty there, and things were happening in the whole art world, especially abstract expressionism got a hold of me. And so many of my early paintings in the 60s were quite abstract. And I find I keep going back to those at times. And so the big painting in the middle, the larger one in the middle, is not as big as sometimes. I've been known to make larger paintings, wonderful big paintings here now. In any case, that got a hold of me, and I'll return to that abstract quality in a lot of my work. But on the other hand, there's a couple of things. When I started moving, we moved to upstate New York and the Adirondack area when I started teaching at Plattsburgh, and the Adirondacks grabbed me. And actually, even before we got there, we honeymooned on the East Coast here, and the coast was grabbing me. So the landscape got a hold of me, and I wanted to do more and more landscape painting. So some paintings are very much the natural landscape interpreted. It's not precise, it's not realistic in that sense, but maybe a little more impressionistic. And you'll see that in the Katahdin and in Mohegan Island paintings. And then there's some that are more, let's say, in between. They have the abstract quality, but you look the second time, like in waves, and all of a sudden you're seeing things more like a detail blown up. So you can see these different things as at least 3 different directions, and there's a couple paintings opposite those, which I didn't expect to be hung. I thought they were ending up in the Evergreen show. But it turns out they found space for them, and one's quite abstract, the other one is autumn landscape, which I just finished the night before bringing the paintings here. So it's quite fresh. If it was oil paint, mine are acrylic. If it was oil paint, it'd still be wet. Is that safe? We'll find out. Okay. And in any case, if you enjoy seeing some of these paintings, of course the gallery has more of my work, but they also have a lot of things online. And I call that attention to for all the artists, we're very well represented online. And it's tremendous. And if you go to my name, you'll see a couple columns. One is large paintings, the other is small paintings. And you'll also see the ones that have been sold. And you'll see these different styles I just mentioned, more realistic or impressionistic to the very abstract. You'll see some of each of those, not in any order, but I invite you to go online. Of course, we're wonderful that you're here and you keep coming back here. And again, to Kevin and Emma, Sean, and the whole staff here, thank you for another wonderful job.
Thank you. In 2019, after 15 years in commercial photography, a move to New Zealand prompted Marilyn to find new meaning with personal work. She resided in remote locations, creating art in solitude and otherworldly terrain. During this isolation in these majestic landscapes, she explored new mediums, many in these pieces. Marilyn's work combines expressive layering with movement and chance, creating emotive compositions. Her work navigates the space between vulnerability and belonging while absorbing both the tension and stillness of passing of time. This is Marilyn's first show as a represented artist here at Portland Art Gallery. We're just so delighted to represent her. Welcome, Marilyn Burke.
Hello. I'm so excited to be here tonight. I hope you don't mind. I wrote something and I'll read it. As I was thinking through what to share with you here tonight, I acknowledge the fact that there must be a certain standard to these artist talks. There must be some general structure that would be followed, and if I followed it, it would be considered successful. Oh, this should be good, I thought. I can't even follow when my husband leads me in a dance. I want to follow and enjoy a moment of musical synchronicity with him. I really do. It's not a problem with my rhythm or coordination. I've got that covered. It's just that dancing is one of my most happy and free expressions in life. And following someone else's lead, in this case, proves time and again to be met with my willful wild side. With that thought in mind, I noticed my own process in preparing for this talk became stifled. This, I realized, was a familiar feeling to me. This is the precise set of sensations I was challenged with right before I chose to begin painting. The very act of painting and the resulting work of mine that you're viewing here tonight are the acceptance of, or rather the celebration of, our uniqueness, our imperfection, our doing our best, even when it may seem from the viewpoint of others that you're saying the wrong thing, or you don't know what to do, or you're making unpopular choices, and that you're not being everything to everyone at all times, because honestly, you just need to be something for yourself right now. In 2019, our family moved to New Zealand, where we spent over 2 years amongst some of the world's most magnificent landscapes. Surrounded by and immersing myself in nature, away from everything familiar, I found the way back to myself. I realized this strong determination within myself that has been constantly battling between pleasing others and getting what I want in life has been all in the name of self-preservation. This was also profound and eye-opening. The challenge was, I then had to ask myself, what is it about myself that I'm so determined to protect? And so in this new home on the other side of the world, I chose to spend countless hours outdoors alone. I created time-layered photographs, original impressions of the movement of the sea, and for the first time, I began painting. Once we returned back home, without so much as a photo reference or a general theme in mind, I continued to paint outdoors and in my attic studio. When I paint, my mind vividly returns to my childhood days, and as an adult playing with my own children, I play like a child. What I am protecting with every breath I take is what I learned from my countless hours spent with nature. I am protecting my very own nature. I now understand that I create and thrive while being in control, just enough to not be in control at all. And so one day, after studying art history books, I decided to completely let go and paint just like I dance, guided entirely by my instincts and emotions. These paintings, many larger than myself, are the result of my wish to free myself from the constraints of expectations, from fear of failure and even fear of success. You see, like many others in our lifetime, there are roles we play and boxes we are assigned to. These paintings are an expression of breaking free from those lines and living a life trusting our heart over everything else and unapologetically chasing what brings us joy. Standing on a platform with a microphone and speaking to a group without being provided a set of rules and bullet points may be considered one of the most vulnerable positions a human will ever encounter, myself included. That's why I'm reading. I wish we could all have the opportunity to be heard, to speak, to act and profess ourselves, to be who we are without fear of judgment. My wish for my art is that it provides a sense of understanding, comfort, and joy for being precisely who you are in this very moment, and to let yourself be guided by your very nature. After all, everything beautiful within you comes from nature. My paintings are simply a beautiful reminder. Thank you, Portland Art Gallery, for providing me with this opportunity to invite understanding so that I can carry on painting.
Thank you, Marilyn. All right, and now I'd like to introduce artist Jill Hoy. Woohoo! All right, this show largely consists of works created plein air in 2024 in her beloved Stonington Deer Isle area, where she has been a regular resident since 1965. Jill's use of vivid color in the main paintings results in surfaces that are richly and intensely painted with images that just seem to vibrate. We hear that all the time from visitors. Jill is also a master of capturing the ever-changing light along the rocky Maine coastline or in a blueberry barren. Her work is included in numerous solo and corporate and individual collections. Please welcome the beautiful artist, Jill Hoy.
Well, my son died this month, so I'm just going to tell you that right off the bat. And he grew up in the household of two really great painters, he always said. And that is a very singular experience And I've been listening to many young people talk about his life and what he taught them. And I was so struck how much he took in of us all, of John and I, and gave back out into the world. Way more than I ever thought he took in somehow, which was awfully naive of me. And I just wanted to come tonight because painting is my life. You know, I do it like I breathe. And they're plein air paintings, and so I'm in these extraordinary places that I love deeply, and I'm at a point in my life that I'm really trying to, I can paint very tightly, and I want the fluidity of the world to be passing through these paintings, and the kinetic quality that I'm experiencing doing them. And the light is changing, and the currents are changing, and the wind is hitting, and you're holding on to the things, and they're battering around. And so one hopes there's that feeling as an experiencer of them. I know they give forth a lot of energy and life force, and that's important for us all to connect with in this time in our world. So I'm deeply privileged to be the one painting them, and hopefully you will take that and move with it. Yeah. So thank you.
All right, Mr. Hopkins, Eric Hopkins. All right, Eric graduated from the Rhode Island School of Design. His paintings in glass are held in many private and public collections, including the Farnsworth Art Museum, Portland Museum of Art, Bates College Museum of Art, University of Southern Maine, Corning Museum of Glass, and many other spots. He is also represented in corporate collections of Central Maine Power, LL Bean, Johnson Wax, TD Bank, and IDEX. I could try to talk about Eric's work, but I think he does a much better job. So please welcome artist Eric Hopkins.
Wow. Thank you all for being here. This is great. Just a great crew, great energy, vibe. And all three artists have spoken things that resonate with me. And abstraction, reality, just finding your way in nature, getting bored with yourself, getting excited with yourself, grief and joy. I also have lost my son, and there's a lot to learn. And I found out, I talk with him. I communicate with him. And I did with my little brother and my father, all those so-called dead guys. I love them. They're here. Believe me, ladies and gentlemen. They are loud and clear here in a different form. And I'm reading a book called A Walk in the Park. Anyone heard of it? Yeah. It's Kevin someone and Pete McBride, National Geographic photographer. And the two guys joined up. They'd done a lot of work together. And so Pete calls up Kevin and said, "Hey, I got a project in mind. What do you think about walking the Grand Canyon from one end to the other? It's about 800 miles. It'll be a walk in the park." And so Kevin reluctantly says, "Yeah, you don't have to get ready for it. You can, just get off the couch and go. We'll do our training on the ground." So the subtitle is something about misadventures of this adventure. And what really resonates with me, everyone's talked a little bit about time and space and life and death and birth. Is there life before birth? after death, all that. And they're down here way where no one has been. It's way the hell and gone, down in the canyon, and they're on the edge of losing it too. And they come across these petroglyphs and potsherds that whole communities were alive and well and making it happen. And that is pretty amazing. And here they are doing whatever they do, what humans do. Why do we do? Why do you make this stuff? Why? Why? There's something humanly compelling. And some of those old, I don't know, the Greek guys, Latin guys are saying, e pluribus unum, out of many, one. And I think each one of us is e pluribus unum. And that came about when the country was being formed, 13 colonies, and they were trying to figure out some kind of symbol. Well, they came up with a symbol of a bouquet of flowers, 13 different kinds. And that was being a whole bouquet with everyone contributing their own individual thing. And I think that's what I see on the walls here. It's what I see on the street when people are pounding the horn and beating their fist, or even complaining about politics. I say, good, we got our own voices, right, Marilyn? Find a voice and use it. So without further ado, thank you very much, and we'll make it happen. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Eric. Thank you again for joining us this evening and for being a part of this community. I'll close out with what I say to my kids all the time. You are brave, you are loved, and you are enough. Have a great night.